up, Americans? You ever hear some stupid sound behind you? Right when I hit play, I heard something. I don't know what the fuck that was. Anyway, thank y'all for joining. Oh, I don't have my thumbnail up. I do not have my thumbnail up. Why ain't my thumbnail up there? Why ain't it up there? This is one of my thumbnails I was gonna use. I'm gonna put one of them up there. Where's the other thumbnail? Where's the other one? The one that I thought I airdropped it to myself. Let me airdrop it to myself again. Let me airdrop it. In the meantime, while I'm airdropping myself this thumbnail, what I need y'all to do is hit the like button and the share button. Share this shit, man. There we go. Share the video. Because we are here to talk about what's going on. It's a lot going on in Black America. So today we having a discussion today. We are having a discussion today. For those of you who don't know, there are a few things going on around reparations. There's the California reparations task force that's been moving through. And there's also the movement, or what was movement, going on with the survivors, the two surviving Black Americans from the Tulsa Race Massacre 100 years ago. And in both situations, we having problems. But before we get there, I want to say welcome. Welcome. Thank y'all for joining. We here. I want y'all to, again, I just want to say thank y'all, because that's what we're here to do. We are here to fellowship together. Ain't that what they say in church? Fellowship. They be like, we gonna fellowship. Nigga, just say we gonna kick it. Fuck all this fellowship shit. Just say we gonna kick it. I remember when we used to go to youth service as kids. There was instead of having pizza night in church, instead of having youth pizza night, they used to be like, "Hey, we about to have pizza fellowship," and I'd be like, "The fuck is pizza fellowship?" Just say we kicking it to have pizza. God damn it! Church always trying to make stuff sound, "Oh, this is an anointed time." All anointed mean is covered over. Nigga, I anoint my feet with oil. Nigga, you do that shit every time you put on lotion. Putting on lotion is anointing your legs with jerkins, nigga. Don't get me wrong, I love my church folks. If you go to church, I have no issues with you. You know what I mean? As long as you're getting the spirituality out of your discipline, your religious discipline, I'm cool with it. As long as you're getting the spirituality out of it. But I'm still going to talk shit. Anyway, go to thewamb.com right now. Enroll in the music course. Right now. $100 off to the people who are in my... It's $100 off right now for the people who are in my email contact list. Also, go to the shop. Juneteenth is the real Independence Day. Juneteenth t-shirts. Black Music Month. June is Black Music Month. Get that t-shirt. All that stuff right now. Card readings, all the good shit is at breakthroughcards.com for those of you looking to get your readings. We have really, really good packages going on right now. We have some really, really nice packages going on right now. So go to breakthroughcards.com, and if you want any discounts on anything that I do, you have to go to thewamb.com and sign up. Right there on the home page. You're going to go right here, put your name and phone number in, and click I want to subscribe for limited updates. Those are the only places I send out discounts for anything. All right? So let's get into this shit. Let's get into it. There we go. We grooving with that. We grooving with this down underneath the music. We grooving with this. He said, let me see Samurai Show. What's up, Samurai Show? Yeah, hit me about the cardiology course. B-day reading, birthday reading. You can buy. I haven't. If you quit, because I was supposed to change this. Like I was supposed to. I'm giving y'all right now. If you quit, you can get a gift certificate. Because I was supposed to change this shit and I didn't change it yet. So if you quit and you go to breakthroughcards.com, let me see if you go here to the business side and you go to breakthroughcards.com, if you go there, what's going to happen is this. If you click on book now, so I'm only telling y'all this because I forgot to make this change and I don't have time to make this change tonight. So if you buy this shit like tonight or before the morning, you might be able to get on it. I'm not going to hold it for nobody. But if you go here to gift cards, if you notice, I still have a discount on the gift cards. I meant to change this shit. I ain't changed it yet. So if you want to get a gift somebody else a reading, or you want to buy one of these for yourself and gift yourself a reading, I forgot to make the change on the goddamn price. So you got like a day to get that because I do not have time to make this change tonight. And I'm sure I won't have any time right in the morning tomorrow. But sometime tomorrow, this shit getting changed. So if you get on it right now, you will get to benefit from my mistake. So this shit gonna get changed sometime between now and Saturday. But if you jump in on it right now, you got it. If you jump in on it right now, you got it. All right? But we back at it. So let's talk about this. So, and yes, oh yeah, I don't want to be rude. Yes, I'm here. But I ain't about to have that fucking light on. Y'all know how I look. Shit. Anyway, justice denied. And this is a few things I want to talk about today. This is a few things I want to talk about as far as the denial of reparations for Black Americans. Let me see. I'm over here clicking on articles. Here we go. I'm over here looking for the article. I clicked on it. So, the Oklahoma Supreme Court dismisses lawsuit brought by survivors of Tulsa Race Massacre. And this is written by Omar Jimenez. I wonder why it's Andy Rose and Omar Jimenez. Sounds like it's written by two people who wouldn't even be qualified for reparations based on our standard, but I digress. Says Oklahoma Supreme Court dismissed a lawsuit arguing the remaining survivors of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre should be compensated by the city for damages Wednesday, dealing a blow to their ongoing fight for reparations for more than 100 years after the attack. Survivors Hughes Van Ellis, Viola Fletcher, and Leslie Begettingfield Randall initially filed the suit in 2021. Ellis, however, died last year at the age of 102. This is why this is so important, y'all. You know, when it comes to reparations, one of the arguments that I like to use against us is Well, slavery was a long time ago, and there are no more surviving people. So hey, we can't pay reparations. That's something that they like using on us. Well, when you see a situation here, when people are surviving, they still, they still have an excuse as to why they can't give us justice. And here's why that's significant. They always talk about black people and reparations. One thing that they always like to do, even when if they talk about, like Joe Biden used this one recently. Joe Biden used this one recently when he said that after he got elected, he turned around and said that reparations, that black people are going to have to talk to the Indians first. Remember he said that? And every time we talk about reparations, they talk about, well, what about the Indians? Native Americans need to get theirs first. Well, we can't get reparations for a government sanctioned, and I do say government sanctioned when it comes to the Tulsa Race Massacre. The reason why I say government sanctioned is because they helped. They allowed bombs to be thrown from airplanes down on those black survivors, and they also denied entry from other surrounding black towns from coming in and helping. This, when the race massacre happened, there were black people in surrounding towns that were willing to come down to help out in this massacre, but they were denied access and roads were blocked off and cut off. So since the government allowed that to happen and sanctioned it to happen, they're involved in that. They're involved in that. They're responsible. So, you know, they tell us, they say, hey, let's look at the Native Americans. Well, a couple years ago, do y'all remember when the Indians, the $5 Indians got damn near half of Oklahoma returned to them? The $5 Indians, never forget, a few years ago, the Cherokee are the main ones who helped sell us out because we are the Cherokee. And back in the 1700s and the 1800s, a lot of Cherokees fought alongside of the white supremacists too. Let's not forget that. These tribes that got land, a lot of these people fought and helped the white supremacists against us. And they used the red Indian against the black Indian. In tribes where both red and black Indians both existed. Source, Dr. Clyde Winters. But as you see here, they literally recently returned 3 million acres in that same state. See right here, the Muskogee Creek Nation. Do y'all know them Creek people come from fucking Alabama? The Creek people look like me and you. Bass Reeves was a Creek. The Creek look like everyday Negroes, but you don't see them getting none of the goddamn land. And so we see that, look at this. For another one, Supreme Court rules that half of Oklahoma is Native American land. So the Indians, they are telling us we got to get tied to the Indians. Yet the Indians, the fake Native Americans, they don't hand things back to us. Look at this. The Seminole Nations. The Seminole from Florida. These are people that were marched out of Florida after Jessup's rebellion. After they signed the treaty with John Horse. These was Negroes. But I have Choctaw. Let me see here. Let me look at my phone. Y'all about to get me started. Y'all about to get me started. Let me see if I can find this picture. Because it was on my computer, but you know, my fucking computer crashed a few months ago. So I lost every goddamn thing. I lost everything. I'm looking for this picture, bro. I'm looking for this picture I have of my Choctaw great grandmother out of Dallas, Texas, out of South Dallas, settled in South Dallas after slavery. Families, let me see here. Do I have it? Do I have it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Is that it? Now it's gonna take too long to find. I'm not gonna look for it. This is gonna take too long to find because I don't have my yeah, this is gonna take too long to find because nothing in my computer is where the fuck it should be. Damn it, I wanted to show this picture of my Choctaw great grandmama, but I didn't know I was gonna talk about this. Well, anyway, y'all get the picture. These people are traditionally us. And during the late 1800s, during the time of the Dawes Rolls, in the early 1900s, they systematically removed us from these tribes. Not to say for you Pan-African niggas, not to say we aren't African too. Yes, there is a lot of African in us too. Black Americans, we a gumbo of a lot of different shit. We're also European. White European and black European. Because Europe is not exclusive to white people. It isn't now, never has been, never will be. Those are just the images that they send to us. But when you're talking about Chickasaw, Choctaw, Seminole, Muskegee, these are all tribes that traditionally look like me and you. Oh, I just found it. Persistence. Okay, here we go. Show and finder. Is this it? No. Here it is. This is my great grandmother, Miss Mary Luvina Means Smith, Choctaw. This was a Choctaw in the 1800s, right here. This was a Choctaw in the 1800s. But she didn't put her names on no damn Dawes roll. She moved to Dallas and got a house in South Dallas. That's a Choctaw right there. So it really goes to show you, no matter what angle we do it, whether we tie our blood into our Native American ancestry, whether we stay under our current title of quote unquote Black American, either way it go, they have an angle to tell us we can't get it. So when it comes down to it, we are a mixture of a lot of different things. We're a mixture of some of the newer Africans. It was a handful. It was about a little over 300,000, less than 400,000 Africans brought here to America in the last 400 years. Look, the world has always moved and traveled. You got to understand the Moors. Do I got to break a little bit of history down to y'all real quick? This is what y'all got to understand. When the Moors controlled Europe from 711 to 1492, part of their job was to deny passage to the Caucasoids, the Caucasian people that were on the planet. Because remind you, the Vandals, the Visigoths, all the roaming tribes of Europe, these were the tribes that destroyed the Holy Roman Empire. And the Holy Roman Empire was the last empire that, that gave those people sustenance in that area. And when the empire fell, Europe went into disarray. And the Moors came in 711 and settled it. Part of the Moors treaties was to stop these people from being able to access different parts of the planet. That's why it's no coincidence that when Ferdinand and Isabella took over Spain in 1492, to be more exact, Thanksgiving, November 1991, and got control of Spain January 1st, 1492. It's no coincidence that 1492 is the year that Christopher Columbus set out to the world. And before Christopher Columbus set out to the world, you got to remember Portuguese explorers were setting out to the world too, because Portugal got its freedom from the Moors about 100 years before Spain. So, don't quote me on the years, but it was before Spain. So it's no coincidence as European as different empires kicked the Moors out. Why am I saying this? The Moors were coming over here to California. The Moors are the people who named California. You dig? So it's people who've been traveling transcontinentally across this planet. Planetary travel never stopped. It's always been a thing. It's only been in certain groups through periods of times that the Europeans were denied travel. People from Europe, the Caucasoid, the Caucasians, for that time period, they weren't traveling the planet. Everybody else was. Asians were. The Chinese were traveling the planet, circumnavigating the globe. The Japanese were circumnavigating the globe. Australians during this time. So I don't like to get into all this fight of we from this at this time. Man, the story is complicated than a motherfucker. And unless you're willing to take time to go through finely detailed and go through each occurrence, you have the minor shifts across transcontinentally, and you have the major shifts. The major shifts being the transcontinental slave trade that for the most part went from Africa to South America to the Caribbean, somewhat to the United States. Before that, you had, when the Moors were going around, before that, you had a lot of Africans coming here to the Americas. You had the Mansa Musa time period, about 1,000 years ago. You had, it's a lot. The story is complicated. You dig? So I don't get into all that arguing and shit. That arguing is for you small brain niggas. So back to what we're talking about when it comes to justice being denied. Why is this so insulting? It's insulting because not only is it happening to survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre, it's happening here here in California. Here in California, there is a Latina named Kate Sanchez. She's a Republican. And Kate Sanchez, California is moving along with reparations for Black Americans. California is moving forward with reparations. And the main person that had an issue with reparations was an assemblywoman by the name of Kay Sanchez. And I want y'all to listen to what she had to say.
Amount could be as much as $800 Economist consultants from the task force reported the total amount could be as much as $800 billion. $800 billion. That's 2.5 times the size of our entire state budget. To pay for that, you'd need a major tax hike, unlike anything this state has ever seen before. I recognize and acknowledge the painful part of our history. The pain.
Real quick, you don't need a tax hike. You need to sell treasury bonds like they do every time. Every time this state, that's what the states can also sell bonds too. States sell bonds to cover debts.
Of our past should not be paid by the people of today. The majority of our state is Latino and Asian, making up 55% of our population.
The majority of our state is Latino and Asian. Latinos and Asians Latinos and Asians who have benefited from civil rights legislation. We have a negative ninny in the chat room that likes attention. Hey, for you, hey, dickhead. The reparations that she's fighting against already passed. Stupid fuck. People are going, you're not going to get anything. Nigga. Get a brain, nigga. This is just the one person arguing. I'm illustrating a point here. Things happen slowly. No group of people get anything they want. No political agenda gets everything it wants the first time around. I can't name a political agenda on the planet that, in America, that's gotten everything it's wanted the first time around. When gays wanted to get married, it started in the 1990s as a defensive the DOMA, Defensive Marriage Act. And then they went into Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Don't Ask, Don't Tell was the first thing that gays got. They had to wait another decade to go and get, okay, you're allowed to get domestic partnerships. Then they had to go a whole nother decade for them to be allowed to get married. So even the gay folks had to have a 3-4 decade long fight to get to where they are right now. Fucking idiot. No group of people get everything you want. You get one win and then you keep fighting. Then you get another win and then you keep fighting. And 20, 30 years later, you look up after fighting for 30 years consistently, you have everything you want. Stupid ass idiot. God damn, I can't stand them kind of niggas. Back to what we talking about. So let's get back to this Sanchez person. Let's go back a little bit.
The majority of our state is Latino and Asian, making up 55%.
And look at her hair. She's a Republican named Sanchez with that thick ass hair. As if she ain't got a Latina black abuela grandmama or great grandmama. Probably got a black grandmama on both sides. Look at that hair. I guess you benefit from Madam C.J. Walker too.
Of our population. Most of them, like me, are first, second, or third generation immigrants who had nothing to do with slavery, discrimination, Jim Crow laws, nothing. It is fundamentally unfair to force these people to pay for this, and because of that, I will be opposing today. Economists.
And that's the argument, that's the general argument that they use. We weren't here. You can't force us to pay for it because we weren't here. But you also weren't here to fight for civil rights, but you benefited from it. You also didn't pay into a system. You don't have multiple generations of paying into a system. And I want to give another shouts out to Camilla Moore. Camilla Moore has done a great job. She's done a great job so far with this. No, they took out the cash reparations part for now, and that's fine. You knew that they were going to take that part out, but she put it in there for them to take it out. And Where are they right now with it? The California State Senate has advanced more of the reparations. One thing they've approved so far is the reparations, the Bureau of Freedmen Affairs. The Bureau of Freedmen Affairs. To me, I think that's a big thing because that's how governments delegate money. That's how governments delegate resources. It's through bureaus and through letting, because that's how the government works. The only way yo ass any citizen is getting anything is if the bureaucracy gets to get a chip off a piece of it for themselves. That's good old America. Whether you white, black, Asian, Jewish, Latino, the bureaucracy wants to get its piece. That's just how America works. It's certain things that black people have to understand about how this country works. Cause I saw a lot of black people that are mad, like, what do we need bureaucracy for? Well, that's just even the Indians got a bureaucracy, the Native Americans got a bureaucracy. They have a bureaucracy for undocumented immigrants. Bureaucracy that's just how the place is run. So for us to get a bureaucracy, that's a really big thing. Appreciate the Cash App, 400. 400 with the Cash App. Much appreciated, much love. Matter of fact, let me put my Cash App up here. Hey, y'all really be supporting me, man. Don't get it twisted. I appreciate it. I ain't one of them old take it for granted ass niggas. I appreciate y'all for real. Cause I used to always say I'll go live every day if I can get it. I used to always just want 10 people to listen to me. I'd be like, man, if I could just get 10 people to listen to me, I'm good. That's what I was saying January 2020. If I could just get 10 people to listen to me, I'll be happy. I couldn't imagine 100 people listening to me. I was like, whoa, that'd be a whole lot. I thought it would take me like 10 years to get 100 people to listen to one of my shows. Anyway, so you're seeing here that a lot of the legislation is going through here in California. So DeJuan, why am I bringing this up? Why am I tying this into Tulsa? It's because I want us to pay attention to who's against us. You know, white supremacy hides behind its buffer classes. We have to understand that. We have to know that when we have these other people who have other allegiances first, whether it be another country or another organization, they're not going to be the biggest. And I'm not saying all. Because there are people that are tied to organizations who don't mind giving up something to us. You know what I mean? It's people out there who really ain't tripping. So I'm not here to label everybody, because in order for legislation in California to go this far, that means there are a fair amount of people out there who ain't tripping. So we have to know that exists too. Everybody ain't your enemy. But at the same time, most of these motherfuckers is. So we have to know that just because they have hair like us or somewhat like us, or they're brown like us, or have some kind of minority, whatever relationship with us, does not mean they're going to rock with you and roll with you when it's your time to get justice. One of the issues we as black people been making, we've been just assuming if somebody else is a quote unquote person of color or a quote unquote minority, they're going to relate to us and sympathize with us, empathize with us, and be down with us. And that can't be further from the truth. Dig what I'm saying? We have to know this. Let me see. We got to know this. I appreciate that, waiting for the Cash App. Appreciate that. And it was the same thing in Oregon. When they had that reparations thing up a couple years ago, it was people that are supposed to be on the same side of the fence as us that were pushing against it. You dig what I'm saying? It was people from the same group as this Kate Sanchez lady that were filing lawsuits to weaken the legislation for reparations in the state of Oregon. But that's something that we got to keep fighting for, people. We can't we can't go around with this defeatist attitude saying, well, we'll never get, because life and death is in the power of the tongue. That's some shit that they say in church. That's some real shit. Speaking of that, let me get my church music going. This is some gospel shit I'm getting ready to drop. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. And you have what you say, people. You have what you motherfucking say. And if you go around talking about what you can't get, what you're not gonna get, what you'll never get, guess the fuck what's gonna happen? You ain't getting it. Because you yourself, you put that prayer out there. The mantras we repeat, the things we say over and over and over again is a prayer. Prayers that the universe hears and picks up on. So watch what you say, especially now during this time when I read my cards. We are in a very sensitive time, man. The cards have already shown me. Ooh, Ace of Hearts came up. We're in the Eight of Hearts year, even though it's Ace of Hearts. One thing about the Eight of Hearts in years like this, what you say is very powerful. You really do attract what you say. And one thing Black Americans have been saying for a long time, that's why I kicked that dickhead out of here earlier that was talking that shit. Well, my mods kicked him out. Because we don't have time to be around defeated niggas. If you a defeated nigga, leave. You have two options. If you got a defeatist mindset, you can either be quiet and hang around those of us who don't have a defeatist mindset so you can learn some information as to why we don't have a defeatist mindset, so that you can then go from being defeated to being a champion and being a lion. If you're willing to be quiet and be around here, or if you feel like we ain't gonna be in a relationship, just shut the fuck up and don't say nothing. Not around here. Or if you feel like we're never going to get reparations, if you feel like this is something that we shouldn't be fighting for, if you feel this is a waste of time, then shut the fuck up, because we don't give a goddamn about your opinion, you motherfucking fool. We don't care. If you don't think Black people deserve reparations, or we're never going to get reparations, fine. The fuck out of here. It's simple. I don't believe in entertaining idiots. I don't believe in giving attention to self-hating Negroes and people who just want to come around and get attention off being the clown of the village idiot. I don't fuck with village idiots, especially negative ninny village idiots. You get what you say. Now, I get the frustration. I understand the frustration that you have. I understand the mindset that I even understand the mindset of thinking that you're not going to get reparations. I understand, because we up against so much. Trust me, I understand. But that don't mean you succumb to it. That don't mean you succumb to that mindset. That doesn't mean you give that mindset any credence, any credibility. You shut the fuck up. Don't put it out there. Because when you put it out there, now you make it real in the minds of people. And if it's real in your mind, it's real. If you give it credibility and energy. So this ain't the place for that shit. Speaking of whole shit, and I might do a whole nother show on this later on. But before I go to the next subject, let's just say that let's keep going. We have to honor the survivors of Tulsa, the survivors of Wilmington. Hell, we gotta honor ourselves right now. We're going through another mass removal that in 10 or 15 years, there are going to be lawsuits, maybe even less than that, for us being displaced due to gentrification. Don't get it twisted. We're going through that right now, people. We're going through a lot of this displacement, just changed forms. White supremacy knows how to do the same things to us in different forms. It's learned and evolved over the years how to be less violent and less brutal with their bullshit. Same evil, destructive means is going to ultimately kill you, just less brutal on a surface level. But for our ancestors that survived the brutality, for Hughes Van Ellis, for Miss Viola Fletcher, for Miss Leslie Beginningfield, Randall, we have to keep going. We can't let these people who sacrifice so much for us, we can't let their fights go in vain. We can't do that. Like, we have to keep going. And that's why I believe in so much in honoring us, honoring our music, honoring our history. This is what I mean when I say I'm not going to, nothing wrong with Africa. And for you Pan-Africanists niggas, get out your little fragile egos and listen to me, and listen to me good. When we talk about Black Americans and us surviving, and us talking about Black American history, Black American music, and honoring here in America, we're not denying Africa. We're not ashamed of Africa. Stop your little small-minded, pseudo-intellectual, lame-brain discussions. I don't give a fuck how long you've been studying over in Africa for the last 30, 40, 50 years. Great. We love your information. Keep writing more books. Nothing wrong with Africa. Nothing wrong with studying Africa. Nothing wrong with digging out tombs and pyramids. We need all the information we can get as a diaspora, as a people around the planet. All dark-skinned people. We need dark-skinned people across the planet, on all four corners of the planet, digging up the blackness that's there. But our job is to dig up the blackness that's here. Appreciate that, G. Appreciate that. Thanks for the super chat. But we also need people who are well-versed and understand and want to understand the history here. We got to understand that. And that's not denying Africa. It's not denying African history. But look at these three faces we have on camera right now. These people were alive here in the United States of America when this government sanctioned terrorism on us. We have to honor them. And I'm not about to sit here, and I used to do it, and I still have honor for it. But before I go honoring an ancestor in Africa that I don't know what language they spoke, I don't know what music they listened to, I don't know what food they ate, I don't know their temperament. Although they are distant ancestors of mine and I honor and reverence and love them, I have to first give honor, love, and reference to my ancestors that I do know, both directly tied through bloodline and those not tied through bloodline. These three Black Americans lived in the same city as my great 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 as my great great grandfather. These three Black Americans you see right here, these three people you see right here, lived in the same city as her grandson. This is my great 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 grandmama who lived in Dallas. Her grandson decided to move from Dallas to Tulsa, Oklahoma. In 1905. He lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Her grandson. He lived in Tulsa. At the same time, these three Black people were living in Tulsa. For all I know, my great grandfather, her grandson, could have been friends with one of their parents. For all I know, her grandson could have been friends with one of their parents. My cousins still live in the house she lived in. We still own a house that she moved into over 130 years ago. My family could have easily known these people's parents. And after they were denied, and after they burned down Tulsa, we rebuilt Tulsa. My great grandparents were part of the rebuilding effort for Tulsa. But they couldn't sustain it because they had no fucking help. They didn't get government bonds and treasury bonds, and they didn't get assistance like people fighting for the Ukraine and are demanding here in the United States, and people who are fighting wars across the planet. They get money. My family didn't. And you Pan-African niggas are telling me that I'm denying my Africanness because I celebrate and honor my American family? Fuck you. For real. I'm just a real nigga. I don't play games. I don't mince words. I can love Africa and still love my ancestry here. Somebody just put a thumbs down. Well, take that same thumb, sit on it, and twist, hoe ass nigga. Oh, they switched and put the thumbs back up. Oh, that means you did it by accident. My apologies. Anyway, but for real, me honoring our Black American ancestry is not denying Africa. Is not saying there's something wrong with Africa. Appreciate the Cash App, Courtney G. We're not denying anything. What's up, Larry? I'm from Africa. I'm from Crenshaw, Mommy. Boys in the hood. But yeah, these people, you see these people, these faces on the screen? We're all connected to these people somehow. Miss Mary on the bottom, that's my blood relative. But you from Texas, you connected to her too. My Texas people, my Louisiana, because she came from Texas because she was enslaved in Louisiana and moved to Texas. We are all connected to these three Black people who were suing for reparations in Tulsa. Hughes Van Ellis, Leslie Beginningfield Randall, and Viola Fletcher. They are our family, yo. For real, for real. Think about that. These people you see out here, they are our family. These three people are related to us in some way. We got to keep going. We got to keep going. And we don't have time for motherfuckers talking about what we ain't gonna get. You had nigga people ain't talking something. We ain't gonna get reparations. Well, your mama didn't get a good son. Your daddy didn't get a good daughter out of you. Fuck you. We gonna keep pushing. Everybody don't get what they want. But we gonna get reparations. And then if I don't get it, my little nieces and nephews will. Right, 400. Just because we pro FBA don't mean we against you. But we have to honor these people, man. Think about how God, look. The Bible say honor your mother and your father, right? If you believe in Christianity. All of the different sacred texts, no matter what you believe in, talk about honoring your parents. That also means by default honoring your grandparents because your grandparents made your parents. And then you honor your grandparents' grandparents, your grandparents' parents, because they made your grandparents and your parents. Think about this shit, man. My grandmother was born in Tulsa in 1931. When my grandmother was born in Tulsa, women are born with all their eggs, right? That means my grandmother had my dad there in Tulsa, even though he wasn't born until the 50s. If a woman is born with her eggs, that means technically my dad was back there, was walking around in a newly rebuilt Tulsa. That's honoring your ancestors. I know in music they would listen to Miss Leslie Randall, Miss Viola. They from Tulsa. I'm sure they like. So I'm sure these women was raised on some Count Basie. They was listening to Duke Ellington, Mr. Van Ellis Hughes. He was probably listening to Albert King and goddamn P.D. Wheatstraw and Muddy Waters. I'm sure he was a fan of Little Walter. He probably listened to Chuck Brown, Charles Brown, and Miss Leslie Beginningfield she probably listened to Billie Holiday and Ella Fitzgerald, and they probably like Chess Records, Stax, Black Swan Records. We gotta honor them, man. That's how we honor them. Honor your ancestors. My ancestors was born here. At least the ones I know their names. They were born here. So I first got to start off by honoring them. I first got to start off by honoring them. And again, that's no disrespect to Africa. That's no disrespect to Pan-Africanism. That's no disrespect to Latinos, Asians, white people, or anybody else. But I think we all should honor our ancestors, starting with the ancestors that we know. I think we should all honor our ancestors again, starting with the ancestors that we know. That shouldn't threaten anybody. That shouldn't make anybody feel some kind of way. As a matter of fact, we should all lean into it and embrace it, and we shouldn't be offended when other people embrace theirs. And so I'm gonna end it with this, and I'm probably gonna talk about it, do a whole show on this tomorrow, from my phone, so I can smoke and talk. But you know how we always talking about hoe ass niggas, and where hoe ass people come from, this new form of athletes, you bronze sexual weirdo ass niggas, you Canelo Alvarez man fans, you weirdos that get all emotionally connected and don't have any kind of strength about you when talking to other men. It comes from moms like this and situations like this. This is a situation with football legend Marshawn Lynch. He's at his football camp, and one of the moms are complaining. Let's listen to her complaint, and then let's break this down, and then we're gonna talk about it more later on. Let's listen to this real quick, because here's what's wrong with the men of our society today. This is why a lot of you women can't find a real nigga, because they got moms like this. And women, don't be a mom like this. Let's go.
Say that, maybe you should just let them know, because they're all in tears.
Is there a man here with you? Okay, so I do. I cuss a lot. I cuss in front of them. So look, I cuss a lot.
Every one of them's
all right,
fine.
that's okay.
No, my son's in here. It's not okay.
Is there a man here with you?
Not here.
Is not a man here with you?
But I'm here. What does that matter?
Because I'm
My
going to
son
speak to a
is
man.
leaving. I don't care. It's my son.
So tell them
It's about here too. They all
but I'll tell them that if they're not doing what they need to do, then yes, there's consequences to that.
Yeah.
If it takes that amount of time for when I tell a kid to do something and they're not doing what they're supposed to do, then there is consequences, like push-ups, like running laps,
like telling them to get away from your drill.
like telling them to get out of my drill if they're not participating,
Get
doing right, get the out of my drill, get the out of my drill, or whatever it takes to get my drill.
Say that, maybe you should just let them know.
So what you just saw there was a mom getting mad at Marshawn Lynch for cussing at her kid and making him get out of a drill. And this is part of the reason why I had to stop coaching basketball well over 10 years ago. Larry in the chat room, he was around. I love my kids, but I cussed him the fuck out. And I saw how that was starting to get too much and parents weren't allowing it. And so the end result is, when you have parents like this, what ends up happening is this. Parents like this raise hoes. Hoe ass niggas. If this was your mom and your dad wasn't around to help you, you probably got a lot of hoe tendencies, fellas. And it's not to say that you're going to be a hoe forever. But you need to get a card reading so we can show where your whole tendencies lies and how to get around them. You need to go visit therapy. Go visit a therapist, get some mentorship, because moms like this raise hoes. That kid is never gonna, that boy is never gonna know how to handle controversy and stress, strife, and problems and get through it because his mom is too busy taking him away from it. That's why they always say when you see a butterfly coming out the cocoon, do not help the butterfly come out the cocoon. Because when a butterfly is coming out that cocoon, coming out that shell, it needs the resistance of the cocoon to build strength in its wings, so that that butterfly's wings can be strong enough to then support its body weight as it flies. We never get to see the beautiful butterfly fly through the sky if it doesn't experience the burden and the pain, the growing pains of that cocoon that's providing all the opposition it can provide in order to make that butterfly strong. That's why when I do like card readings, this is a general card spread up here I'm putting up, nobody's in particular. But when I do a card reading, this is how it look. If you came to me for a card reading, I'll be coming using the same screen I'm using right now. But we all deal with challenges in life. And our Mars card is where our challenges lie. For Eight of Spades person, their challenges lie in their values. So, in holding their values and being strong. So guess what's going to happen? People that are born under this card are going to get thrown all kinds of life challenges that put values in front of them and how they use their values, and if they have integrity within their values. And if they, in spite of all the shit that they're faced with, if they stay principled and stick to their core values, that's where these people's blessings lie. And everybody got a card spread, and in your Mars card, in your Saturn card, in your Pluto card, those where your challenges are. We all have challenges, and we all have a unique set of challenges to us. My challenge ain't your challenge, and your challenge ain't my challenge. But my challenge is just a big enough challenge for me to have to work my ass off to overcome. The same with you. We all got these challenges that we're going to have to work our asses off to overcome. And sports provides an opportunity to teach us how to work through challenges on the basketball court, playing field, or wherever you embark on your sports journey. And sports is a simulation of how to confront and deal with challenges. And if you wisely raise your children to use sports as a means and a method for them to figure out how to overcome challenges, it's going to bode well for them throughout the remainders of their life. But if you're a parent like this, and you don't allow your kids to take challenges, and you challenge the challenge instead of challenging your kid, guess what's happening? You're raising a hoe. It's a guaranteed fact that your kid will come out to be a hoe-ass nigga. No good for any woman. No good for other men that are about their business. What you're doing is you're raising a man that's going to go across the internet all day. And anytime somebody says something about his favorite athlete or singer, he's going to be like, "You're just hating. Why are you hating?" Niggas who go around talk about just because you don't agree with them over a particular something, and they go around instead of using their minds to think And instead of respecting the next man for his decision being different than his own decision, they say, "Why are you hating?" You kind of niggas come from parents like this. Don't want to goddamn face no challenges, and the minute somebody challenges something that you have, if somebody can't come to rescue you, you talking about, "Why are you hating?" Don't be a hoe. Fix that, fellas. Ladies, this is where a generation of hoe ass niggas come from. Situations like this.
Is there a man here with you? I do. I cuss a lot. I cuss in front of them. So look, I cuss a lot. All right, that's okay.
No, my son's in jail. It's not okay.
Is there a man here with you?
The reason why he's asking, is there a man there, because he wants to talk men to men. Marshawn Lynch understands this isn't a conversation that you necessarily want to have with a woman, because men and women have two different points of views. And why the fuck does she have a wrestling shirt on? If your son got put in the girls wrestling, he'd lose.
Is not a man here with you?
But I'm here. What does that matter?
Because
My son is leaving. I don't care. It's my son.
Tell them
If you want me to do, they all
but I'll tell them that if they're not doing what they need to do, then yes, there's consequences to them.
Yeah.
If it takes that amount of time for when I tell a kid to do something and they're not doing what they're supposed to do, then there is consequences, like push-ups, like running laps,
like telling
like
them to get away from your drill.
like telling them to
You
get
ever
out
tell
of
them
my
to get
drill
the
if
fuck
they're not
away,
participating.
right?
Doing right, get out of my drill.
I'm not even
Get the out of my drill. Whatever it takes to get.
Sometimes I miss coaching basketball, but when I see shit like this, I don't miss a motherfucking thing. Because you got too many parents out there acting like this and raising hoes. And when you're a basketball, football coach, you don't have time to have hoes on your court, in your field. So salute to Marshawn Lynch. You did the right thing. We need more of it. We need more men like you and less mothers like her. Nigga hurt. Of course I can leave it to my chat room and have some ignorant shit to say. Hurt, you a fool. Anyway, that means I gotta be up out of here now. You niggas are getting wild. If I keep this chat going on any longer, the 5150 gonna come out you niggas. Y'all about to start going wild. So salute to Corey Holcomb in 5150. I love that show. Anyway, thank y'all again for listening. Let's continue the good fight. Let's continue moving forward. Let's continue positivity and love. Let's forgive other black people. Let's do that. Let's practice forgiving other black people. Let's practice standing up for other black people. Let's also stand up for being open-minded to anybody who got love for us, open-hearted, having care and love for anybody that got open heart to you. Well, at the same time, the reason why I say we have to have love and love ourselves, because love and peace comes at the end of a sword. You have to be willing to defend your peace. As a human being, we got to understand this, black people. You're only going to get the level of peace you're willing to defend. Okay? It's crazy out there in that world. There's a lot of vultures out there. The world is unkind. And the world is that we live in a dog-eat-dog world. And that's just a fact. On top of racism, this is how groups of people treat each other before they have the opportunity to be racist. They're dog-eat-dog with each other. So we got to understand that. And understand that our peace comes at the end of a sword. Our peace comes, we get as much peace as we're willing to defend. And we get as much peace as we're willing to fight for. So let's do that. All right? Thank y'all for listening. Remember this. There are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those willing to pick up the game. Salute to Marshawn Lynch for doing the best he can do to make sure that there's one less hoe-ass nigga out there. Marshawn Lynch is fighting the fight to minimize the whole shit in America. So salute to the king, Super Bowl champion, independent thinking black man, for helping to fight the fight to minimize whole shit. All right? My name is Dewan. We out.